So do you remember the Fyre Festival, Beth?
I do indeed.
Wonderful. It was this huge deal a couple of years ago. Tons of models and influencers got behind the campaign, and it was supposed to be this luxury music festival experience. The organisers had bought a whole private island in the Bahamas. They were flying people in, getting top chefs, the best acts, etc. So everyone on Instagram started sharing this like plain orange square. Was that right? It's like an orange square?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was sort of going to be some promotional gimmick to plug the festival, and it became the most sought after ticket around, sold out within 48 hours. It was huge. So what happened next has kind of gone down in history, and the story is being told in a new Netflix documentary called Fyre, The Greatest Party That Never Happened, which kind of tells you everything. And we're talking all about it. So you're listening to the film show, and we just talked about the Fyre Festival documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
What do you think?
About the documentary or the whole thing?
Let's start with the Fyre Festival itself, because it was a shambles, right?
It was a shambles. I actually remember seeing people on Instagram posting about it when it was all still the big build-up before it all went to pot and people actually went. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, that looks amazing, and all these famous people are going to be there.
Yeah.
And I just thought, it's like an even better Coachella. But then I remember hearing about what happened, and I just thought, oh, an idiot. Like,
yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of sympathy at the time, because it was a lot of people that had enough money to spend sort of thousands and thousands on these tickets, and then it all kind of went pear-shaped. And yeah, there was very little sympathy in the media for the people that bought tickets, because it's like, well, you can afford to lose the money, so whatever.
Yeah.
But the documentary didn't really know anything about it until a couple of days before it was released on Netflix, and it's available now to watch. And it's less about the people that were like that bought tickets that were affected, and more about the sort of behind the scenes organisation of the festival, and how it all just kind of from day one was just doomed to fail.
Yeah, and I think it shines the light on, rather than feeling sorry for the people that bought tickets and lost their money, but the people that were working on the project.
Yeah. Like,
it makes you feel a lot more sorry for them. I mean, it's really quite emotional, isn't it, in places?
Yeah, like one woman in particular that's interviewed, she runs she ran like a local restaurant, on the island.
Yeah.
And so she was essentially given a contract by the festival to cater and whatever. And listening to her story and how she was personally affected by, all of the kind of lying and the cheating and the shambles that was the organisation of the event, was really sad. It was
really sad, and that is definitely what I take away from it.
Yeah.
How these people were just taken advantage of, really, and just I don't want to give too much away, but even like the end, like after the Fyre Festival, the things you see about, I just think it's awful.
Yeah, and obviously it's no surprise or shouldn't be any spoiler to anyone that the festival just completely fell apart, because it was all over the media when it happened.
Yeah.
But you're watching it, and just the sheer level of incompetency behind that festival, it's just like, you couldn't have scripted it. People wouldn't have believed. They would have just brushed it off if it was like a scripted film and said, that's just ridiculous, it's not
never
plausible.
Happen. Yeah, and the shame of it is, if it was done right, it could have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic idea, and people were saying at the time, he's a genius, because no one had done something like that before, and if it had actually gone well, it would have been a yearly thing.
But the thing is, what's so ridiculous is people only said that because they had a great ad. They went there for a weekend, filmed this like stunning advert with all these models, and like sold this like aspiration of this festival, and they had nothing to back it up. And then seeing how they're all just like hopelessly chasing their tail, and it's all about the boss, Billy McFarland. He's like the sort of entrepreneur who was like bigging himself up as like the game changer in the music industry, and just sort of seeing behind the scenes. And I was actually really surprised at just how much he allowed to be filmed during this, because it was never exactly like a picnic throughout the organisation. Like he didn't come across well.
No, but then I think he's the kind of person that has no shame. Like, can we say, like, when Netflix approached him? Can we say that? That what you told me?
Yeah. So it was published in an article during the publicity of this release that Netflix approached Billy McFarland for an interview. They wanted him to appear on the show, and he actually asked for money to do that. So they. And rightly so, they just turned around to him and said, forget it. You've profited enough from this. We're not going to pay you to be on the documentary about it.
This is the thing. He's a man that scammed thousands of people out of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And he's given an opportunity to give his side of the story on a documentary about how he scammed people.
Yeah.
And he asks to be paid in cash.
Yeah, it's an absolute farce, isn't it?
It says what kind of guy he is, so I think he genuinely has no shame, and that's why he just filmed everything.
Yeah.
Shock him.
I think, you just got to watch it. It's just one of those documentaries that just doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
It's sensational just in how like you just won't believe what you're seeing. These are people who are supposed to be like some of the top businessmen and the best at what they do in the industry, and it's just like a train wreck from start to finish.
Absolutely. But I would say watch it, because I didn't want to watch it when you told me what it was about. I was like, meh.
Yeah.
But it was actually really good.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
It was good. Netflix have a knack for nailing documentaries.
Yeah, they're
really
very, very good at documentaries.
Yeah, and Fyre is no exception. So even if you don't have a particular interest in music, I think you'll probably find it a really enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
So do check it out.
Okay.
All right. Buy, borrow, or bin. We'll summarise at the end of the show, but let's do a quick one now. What are you doing?
I'd probably buy that.
I think I would as well.
Yeah.
One of the few documentaries that I could probably watch again and again, actually.
I think it's the only documentary that's not about sharks that I'd watch again.
Yeah. On that note, let's play some songs.